So Dr. Young, why don't you kick it off and give us some brief remarks, and we'll have everybody say something, and then we'll go to questions and thoughts from the audience. Dr. Young.
Thank you, Mr. Gebhardt. It's a great honor to be here and to be sitting in this panel. I really wanted to make 3 points today, and many of you who may have known of my strong advocacy for stem cell research and spinal cord injury research and so on forth might be a little surprised by the choice of 3 points that I want to make today. The first one is NIH funding. I think Mr. Gebhardt had mentioned this. NIH funding is absolutely critical for the innovation that we're talking about in almost every aspect of biomedical research. And as many of you know, NIH has been flatlined virtually through most of the last 8 years and is currently in 2009 on continuing resolution. The field has suffered, and I don't want to belabor the point except to say that particularly for young investigators, this has been a terrible, terrible year. And this is despite NIH doing everything it can to shift funding from senior investigators to young investigators. This is a time that we have to really be very careful that our next generation of scientists be adequately supported by NIH, and I think this is crucial for the innovation aspects of it, of what we're talking about. The second one. Second point I want to make is about science education. It didn't occur to me until I started to wade into the politics of New Jersey on the stem cell bill when I realized that our problem is not only an opponent on stem cells. We are really talking about a nation that has become anti-science. And I have sat across the table on many, many debates on stem cells, and I have watched many debates on global warming. And of course, it has been a awfully depressing development in this field. So let me just use Rutgers as an example of some of the statistics. Several recent informal polls of the entering freshmen into Rutgers University suggest that over 50% of the students, there's some polls that suggest that maybe as much as 60% of the freshmen entering into Rutgers believe that evolution is an unproven theory. We did one of the genetics professors I knew asked his freshman class to raise their hands, those who believe in ghosts. Over 70% of the students raised their hands. Very clearly, the supernatural trumps the natural. And we cannot talk about people not believing in evolution without believing in genetics. And if you don't believe in genetics, you cannot believe in biotechnology. Now, what is the cause of all this? I'm not sure, but I can tell you there's at least one thing that we need to do, and that is we have to make sure that every student that goes into college come out with some contact with serious science. And that part of the problem that we face right now is really stem from a change in the educational approach in the United States starting maybe 30 years ago, when people can go through college, even go through high school with barely any contact with serious science. And we have essentially raised a growing majority of Americans who have not only become scientifically illiterate, but have become anti-science. There is no way that we can have a cogent debate on issues such as global warming, such as evolution, such as stem cells, when a majority of the opponents in the debate simply do not trust scientists or science and will not accept the evidence base that is given to them. Finally, I want to point out that a large group of Americans have given up on American science and American medicine. These are the people who have left this country to go overseas for medical tourism and have paid tens of thousands, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get experimental stem cell therapies in China, in India, in Thailand, and other places. These people are evidence that we have failed, that medicine has failed, and science has failed them. They have given up on America. They have given up on American science. They don't think the cure is coming anytime soon in America. That's why they have left to engage in experimental therapies elsewhere. We have to bring them back. We have to bring the faith of Americans back into science and medicine. These are the issues, I think, that we need to address, if at all, in the coming years. Thanks.